Well, hello everybody, and welcome to your RangerRob Country Living channel, or podcast, I should say. And today is our conspiracy theory day. Yep. So we're dressed appropriately, and just in case some lightning strike or something comes along, we're prepared. So we're going to talk about some of the current things going on, and some people say some are theories, and we're going to throw theories that are coming out from the news, not our own. Well, maybe our own, but anyhow. But before we get going, I got to let you know that this is a podcast, and so there's an audio version. And every time I turn my head, I keep hitting my microphone because of this hat. So anyway, if you listen to podcasts, to whatever you're listening to or whatever software you're using, they're most likely tied into several different kinds of platforms like iHeartRadio or Spotify and stuff. And we're on all of them. So just type in RangerRob Country Living Podcast, and you should be able to find us and put us on your... What is that noise?
John.
So, and also we're on Rumble, and we're on Twitch. And so we have no John today, but maybe he might come in later. And we have no Reb today because he's gallivanting all over the country. And so we're going to miss them so much. But I told him, you're going to miss out on a real fun show. And they're both kind of like mad because they didn't know we were doing conspiracy theory. So this is Aimee's fault. She goes, we should wear tinfoil hats. So now I'm driving me crazy because every time I turn my head, I hit my microphone on my little thing here. So it's driving me crazy. But so what the heck? We'll go with it. So it's like, that sounded kind of funny. So it was kind of cute. So Aimee has officially pulled herself out of
Winter funk.
Winter bummer. What do you call it?
Funk.
I'm not going to tell you. I didn't know you were going to tell the whole world this.
Out of her winter funk. And actually, I've been in a winter funk too. And so we're slowly coming out of it. And this is probably going to be helpful because of our wonderful outfits here today. So we want to talk about some of the things that are going on because to me, I'll just kind of do the opening of it and stuff. With all the things going on between whether it's the chicken flu or whether it's problems with the environment, feed, our food shortage, things like that, it sums up a lot of things that we're doing proactive. And so we're going to add on to kind of like what we're doing proactive on top of what our concerns are. And we like to hear, I haven't. And Project Bluebeam. So anyway, so we're going to kind of go through the list of different things, get everybody's different opinions of it. Now, whether it's our own opinion or someone else's or come off the news or whatever, we ask that everybody just be one is understanding, two, everybody has different theories about some of this stuff. And so
we are just having fun with it.
Yeah, so we're going to have fun with it, but not too much. I mean, we also have I see a lot of positive things. And one of the things, like today, getting sick of this balloon crap. Oh, crap. So, that's just, an idea of what's been going on around here. So if you guys have seen anything or anything unusual, we want to hear about it. But anyway, the first thing I'm going to bring up is I've asked both everybody in my beep, 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 in our crew here to kind of look at a couple videos I gave them. And I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Jana TV? Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Jana TV. Now I watch him a lot, and I like him because he can be pro both sides, whether it's the government or whatever. And so they've launched 2 videos recently, back to back almost, and I put a link to that video on a YouTube channel link. So if you're on Facebook, you may not see it, but because I added it later. But if you're on YouTube, if you go down to the links below, you'll see I have 2 reference links of some of the videos he's put out. And if I didn't warn you, I'm having an off day, and so if I mispronounce things, just the crew has been told to take over because I'm losing it. But the bird flu, it isn't. And I think you saw the video I saw today, which was an interview with the farmer up in Washington, and it was very in depth. It's a 1-hour interview basically. But what I want to talk about is kind of like what we would do and how this affects people. And you see, Washington's just next door, so it's not that far away, along with hundreds of other places I've had problems with it. Now, how it looks, from what I understand, is your birds will just start acting sickly, nostalgic, nostalgic, but
Lethargic,
yeah, and then there have been
nasal discharge.
Yep. What else? Do you guys remember?
Sneezing.
Yeah, and it's actually happening kind of quick.
Sneezes?
What's that?
Sneeze.
How can you tell if a chicken sneezes?
When he goes
Just
chew.
like us, they
If it
sneeze.
goes,
Yeah.
So
it
anyway,
sounds like
but
a sneeze.
It
a
does.
lot of if the negative part of it is
I think the little metallic stuff's going to your heads, people.
no. Hey, when
You
I
run
go
out
up,
there with
mine,
tissue?
if mine have a sneeze, mine are walking around with Kleenex, and so
Yeah.
I'll say what you. So it's pretty clear, but so this has happened. If it's getting to, it's gonna
Yeah.
take out. John, would you behave yourself?
We need to make him a hat.
Yeah, that's that's the
Grounded.
problem. He'd be in this. So anyway, we the birds are actually passing quickly if they don't bounce back. However, most of their flocks are bouncing back. So some of the big debates is this just like COVID or anything like that, where if we give our birds a chance to recover and build up their antibodies, then you're really starting to create stronger birds, which in turn, when they pass it on to theirs, they'll get a herd mentality. And so, however, every state's different about how they're handling this situation. So some places are letting some people let their birds recover.
And he's gone. So now that he's locked up, what?
He'll be back. He'll come back.
All right, we're back. So Washington State has been telling just to wipe out the whole flock. And so anyway, this gal up there, I think she had 3,200 birds.
Yeah,
A
and
lot.
she tried antibiotics and everything with them.
Yeah,
And
and
still,
she said,
it didn't help.
once she lost a handful of birds, they all bounced back, and so it was just terrible because losing their. I gotta make sure I'm.
Yes.
I see what.
It's one of them shows,
Elijah. Yeah, this is conspiracy theory day, so that's what you missed.
Well, you look at it this way, Rob. They had one place that didn't even have bird flu, and it burned up.
Yeah.
A whole chicken
That's a
farm.
whole separate issue.
That's a whole
Yeah.
That's on my list.
I mean, that's
But,
just
so-
ridiculous.
I want to kind of make sure that everybody gets their kind of 10 cents. 10 cents. 2 cents in. I told you I was off today. I want to hear kind of what you think about if we had that threat. The one thing I did hear is most likely people are getting exposed if their birds are exposed to wild birds, like her ducks were involved in had a lot of wild well, she has mostly ducks, so she will occasionally get wild ducks landing in her pond up in Washington and getting exposed to their feces. And so that's the main reason. And then the other would be you really want to be careful about shipping birds. If you get new birds, keep them separate from your birds for at least 30 days. And those are the best recommendations I've been hearing so far. But anyhow, what would you do if we had that problem? I'll start with Aimee.
Well, not very long ago, back in the fall, there was a lady in Bend. She had chickens, and supposedly, not to discredit her, but that's what the county officials or whatnot told her. She had some birds starting to show the symptoms. I believe she may have had them tested, and she had to cull her whole flock of chickens. Maybe it was 30 or so. So this happened right up the road in Bend, and she had to cull her whole flock. So if I had to cull my whole flock, I would be heartbroken. Yeah. All of my chickens have names, and my kids and I know all my chickens' names. Some of my chickens, are 6-7 years old. I have a few of my original hens that I ever got when I first got chickens. So I would be heartbroken. I know we all would if we had to cull our flocks. If I had to, it would make me sick to my stomach. I mean, it makes me feel nauseous to think about it. But some of, like Rob was saying, some of the things that people do, it was the lady that Debbie got the rabbit from. Remember, she met you somewhere. She doesn't let anyone else in her barns or on her property for eco safety. Even like if I go to Debbie's house, I'm going to have my chickens poop on my shoes.
Yeah.
So that is an option if you want to go to those lengths to keep your flock safe, not let anybody else in your chicken pen.
Well, we pretty much segregated all our chickens.
Yes.
I have more pens than I have chickens.
Yeah. Well, for a short time anyways, you're not going to have that problem for long. But that is a concern when I get chicks at the store. We, of course, as chicks, we keep them in a brooder pen for a while. And that's something we've talked about, because we don't know where this bird flu is coming from. Have humans introduced it to tinfoil hat? Keep us from raising our own food? I don't know. Is it outside of the realm of possibilities? No. So I don't know. It's a risk when you bring new animals into your farm, even ones you got from Tractor Supply or Wilco or whatever. So I don't have an answer.
What they came across, if it's airborne or not.
Right.
I have not heard if it's airborne or if it's actually transmission, like you said, off your shoes. My question would be also is, I don't think it's happened yet, but can this go into other animals, like our pigs or a rabbit?
That was brought up in that video that Rob sent us. Is it zoonotic? Does it cross species? And so far, I don't believe so.
Yeah, I have never heard it yet, but who's to say that it won't down the road?
Yeah, I think the biggest concern is it's been getting in the in mammals and stuff like that. Other species, but usually it's animals that prey on those animals after they died. So like foxes and probably your rats and things like that would get it. But anything that might, or even hawks and eagles, because they'll eat a dead animal. So that's how it's transmitting to them. but not to
But
people.
it's not killing them, right? It's just making them sick.
I don't know those statistics, but I just heard what I heard today. So,
because if that's going into them by eating the sick birds, it still may go into the other animals.
True.
I haven't heard.
Hello, Cindy. Cindy Squirrel.
Hi, Cindy.
I don't think she's been here before.
Hi,
So,
Cindy.
Nice to have you. So they don't know about that, but what they're trying to advocate for, and it's different for every state. So the federal government has backed off a little bit, but the states can keep the whatever rules they want. And that's what happened in Washington. So one of the things is they're kind of requesting more research. Two is, instead of wiping out entire flocks, that give the people the chance to put them in their a separate zone or something like that, and see if they recover, and then have them checked again. And then the other thing is, it may not be so bad that they may get the antibodies and pass it along to other birds or their babies and stuff like so. So it's not an area I'm not real strong at, but it's definitely concerning. So I know I'm going to probably, just with this involved is take precautions in keeping my birds clean, real clean, or and also make sure they're not getting exposed to other birds. And if I bring new birds in, that, like, for example, we've got 25 meat birds coming in, no way am I going to put them in the same pen together or anything like that. They'll be separate the whole time from my flock of egg layers and things like that. So there's definitely a few things to learn, but I also think that we need to ask our government to research it a little more than just wiping out entire, because that's what's affecting our egg problem and some of our other problems, is because they're just wiping out entire flocks, and yet 99% of the flock is fine. It was only like a handful of birds out of that. So, what happens if you just let it go through your flock? Take out the birds that have been affected, burn them, or put them under, bury them real good, and don't let other animals get a hold of them. And they don't have that research. So anyway, that's the biggest thing I've got out of it. So
yeah.
Anything else?
No, I was gonna say, just don't forget to do shout outs tonight.
Oh yeah, I think I'll do that right now before I get on my next subject. So let me switch this out and do shout outs. It's time for Ranger Rob shout outs. Yes, this is the time we want to recognize businesses, websites, and services. Here's today's spotlights. All right, so I'm going to let you guys start because I kind of gave one of mine away already. So, Amy, you got some shout outs, don't you?
I do. I want to say hi to Freedom Farms on TikTok.
Wow.
And they're watching right now live.
Oh. And can you tell me a little bit, can you tell me a little bit about the site?
Not at the moment because the info's on my phone, but I do have actual notes.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to say hi to Nicole at Wandering Bee Farm. They're not far from us, relatively speaking. They're in Idaho.
Oh.
And she's on TikTok and Instagram. But have you guys heard of Farmish? It's like Craigslist except for farms. It's it's pretty cool. So she's on Farmish and she sells her flower seeds there on Farmish. So Nicole at Wandering Bee Farm. They have a really cool greenhouse. Nice. Also Nick at Hostile Hare Homestead. He raises rabbits and quail, and I've been learning a lot about rabbits from him. He's also on Farmish, and they're in Arizona.
Wow.
And then last is not really homestead related, but Sandra Chavez, she is a mounted police officer, like on horseback police officer in Detroit, Michigan. And Aubrey and I just like following her adventures with her horse. You know, they're in a city. They're not on a farm like we are with our horses.
Wow.
And so seeing this mounted police officer in a city has been really cool.
What state did you say she's from, or did you?
Detroit, Michigan is where the mounted Sandra Chavez, the mounted police officer.
Portland has them too.
Wait,
Cool.
what? Oh, do they really?
Portland has
I've never seen it there.
New York.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
Very cool.
did you guys have any John and Debbie?
I don't think so. Not this week.
So my two are of course I think I'm saying Yanasa TV. It's YANASA TV, and that's where those two articles came out, and good interview about this bird flu and how it's affecting some of these different communities. Now, by the way, there seems to be some compensation for farms that are over 20,000 birds. But there's some, a little bit of compensation for people under that, but they're not, there's just all in like in Washington, commercial people don't have to wait as long to start again, where it's 120 days or more for these guys up in Washington because they were under the 20,000. So it was kind of sad.
Wow.
So that's another thing that needs to be looked
Doesn't your
at.
home insurance cover some of that?
Nope. She said it didn't.
Oh.
Let's see. My other shout out real quick is now this one's controversial, but I do like what she talks about, and that's Appaloosa Homestead. Homestead. And so she gets more political and all that stuff. And bless her heart, she's trying to get she's got a good heart. She's trying to bring up things that people don't want to talk about, gives us ideas and gives people a way to for solutions to and causes you to pay attention to what's going on in the news, because it does affect us. And so that's what this show is all about.
Doom and gloom ones, is she?
What's that?
She isn't a doom and gloom person.
Not really. Yeah, she's some shows I kind of like, and other shows I'm like, she's on it today. She had a good one today. But that's what I want. And another thing I want to say is find channels that don't always agree with you. And she's pretty good at bringing out, she's opinionated, but she does allow people to have a counter opinion. but I appreciate her because she brings up things we need to talk about. And so, and that's what we're doing today is we're bringing up subjects that I think the biggest thing out of our first subject is just making sure that we get involved, understand what these farmers are going through, understand if they're under 20,000, they're being wiped out, and the commercials are getting the same problem, but they're getting lenient fixes, and so they can start over again quicker. And so it's going to take almost a year for those guys up in Washington to recover from the bird flu. So Elijah, let's see. Oh, Sherman Family Farm. Nice to see you. Stephen Rogers, did I get him? And also Elijah, of course. Definitely can't be too careful.
Stephanie Rogers has a question.
I haven't got that far.
Says, what's the best bird for Central Oregon?
Oh, there it is. Oh, best bird? It's like chickens or is it
probably chickens?
Yeah.
Rhode Islands are probably the best.
Or the rocks.
They can handle Yeah, there's a couple of hardy, really strong birds. That new American breast that homesteader, traditional homestead, looks like a good bird to grow up around here. So, Rev. Oh God! Shout out to Alex Jones. We're not that conspiracy. That's if you're wondering why we're wearing the word hat is because we're kind of talking about more controversial things than we normally do, and so we thought we'd have a little fun with that. Elijah was saying can't be too careful, and also I also live in Appaloosa. Oh, I didn't know that northern part. So it must be the people over there. They're just crazy. So let's go on to see anything else on that subject. Let's move on to.
Let's not talk about beating dead horses.
He's going to get us in trouble. No. Shermans Family. Oh, so Cindy knows Shermans Family.
Nice.
Anyway, both of the acquaintances that are on here today, we've never had a chance to meet them. We'd love to have you guys come visit us or come give us a call or whatever you like to do. We'd love to meet new people, and we really like it when it's out of state because we learn a lot of things about what's going on. Yeah. And you guys get the extreme cold, or some people don't get the cold, and everybody's got great ideas for their animals, and so I learned from all of them. So, but the next thing we're going to talk about is the Idaho problem, but along with all the others. So I want to. What are you looking at?
Problem?
She's waiting so patiently.
I don't know if I have that one on my map. Wait, what are we talking about?
Well, there's the Idaho. No, not Idaho. Ohio.
Ohio. Yes, I have notes for Florida.
That. There's a whole bunch of things. So what I want to bring up is just because we talk about prepping and getting prepared and being self-reliant and stuff, when I think it was Appaloosa says you might want to start getting, if you're planning on getting a greenhouse, you should get one now because you could protect your, some of your plants and stuff if an event like that happened. And that was a good suggestion. But nobody can keep from getting this problem coming up. I mean, we could have a terrible accident in Portland, and it could, be a big plume or something and come across the mountains and affect us. Along with, we have mountains that could, we're not that far from Mount St. Helens, and I lived right by it when it happened. We could have all kinds of different things, whether it's man-made or not. I'm trying to look at these.
We live in the vortex anyway, so it's just going to go around us.
Well, let's hope so.
Weather buzz and everything else.
Sure. So, well, yeah, and that's optimistic. But the thing is what are you doing, and what can you do to start thinking, proactive about like what can you do on your homestead that if these events happen where there's an airborne problem, and it could be all kinds of things. And
here goes the honeydew list. Well, I could build a dome around that yard.
Yeah.
You don't even have a hat on. You calm down.
No, he's the worst, and he doesn't even have a hat on. But so I'm going to ask these guys here around here. It's like, what do you think about what you might change this year? Just because, if anything, like your new chicken houses over there, John and Debbie, you can actually cover them up and help protect the birds before, say, some kind of a problem in the air comes along before it rains down on your animals. You, in your pens with your pigs, you could actually protect them a little bit pretty easy too. So, and anyway,
once I get the barn and everything finished, we can actually keep them in the barn.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing too, even if it's airborne, just covering them up's not going to protect them.
It might help protect a little bit of what's
Down
coming.
maybe, but it won't keep it from them.
No, but if we have something that's coming down, like let's say ash or things like that, you could try to at least limit it to what your animals get exposed to and keep their food clean and their water.
Right.
Especially if it's a temporary. But I guess in a lot of cases I've never really thought about it. I got paddocks that are movable, so I would have a problem with that problem with taking care of the. I'm trying to read these things at the same time.
Well, ours are big enough that we can just put them all inside the building
Mm-hmm.
and just block up their little door going in and out, and they'd be locked up in there.
And Aimee?
You ready for this? I'm on my soapbox. Ready?
Yep.
Go for it.
Yes.
Okay. So on February 3rd in East Palestine, Ohio, there was a train car derailment, and then the officials released, it was supposed to be a controlled release of vinyl chloride, which is the toxic chemical that was in the train cars.
Mm-hmm.
It basically Chernobyled it. And that's the big one everybody knows about is East Palestine, Ohio. Okay, that was on the 3rd.
And the one in Arizona too. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
She's done her homework.
I did. On February 13th, there was 2 train car derailments that had toxic chemicals. One was in Inori, South Carolina. One was in Splendora, Texas, near Houston. That was on the 13th. On the 14th, in Tucson, Arizona, there was a truck overturned on the highway that contained nitric acid.
Yeah.
Which is toxic. On the 15th, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a chemical tanker fire. On the 16th, which is today, there was 2. There was in Van Buren, Michigan, there was at least 1 car had hazardous material in a train car derailment. And then in Kissimmee, Florida, a nursery plant warehouse caught on fire. It was 5 acres with the plastic pots. Plastic's toxic when it burns. So that's all within since the 3rd.
That's insane. So
at what point does it become a statistical anomaly?
Yeah.
Ow.
I was waiting for the hats to kick in.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one thing with the pots, watch, there's going to be a shortage on pots now.
Of course there is.
Oh, I got one more thing. It's not on my list, but regarding all this, okay, think about the people who live in all those places. Some of those are big cities. Some of them, they don't have a lot of livestock. But a couple years ago, when there was the big fires down in Southern Oregon, we were evacuated for 10 days. We almost lost our house that we were actually trying to sell. So that would have sucked, right? Insurance and all, but we were evacuated for 10 days because of wildfire. And some people, there was many people in our town that did lose their houses. There was many people who evacuated with their livestock. There was livestock killed in the wildfires that couldn't be evacuated. We were evacuated for 10 days, but we were not able to take our chickens. So when you think about these fires, toxic chemicals, we were talking about how to protect our animals in a barn. We had neighbors who would change out our water for our chickens, but there was ash raining down from the sky and it did get into the animals' feed. So if you think of it just on a basic level of a wildfire or Mount St. Helens erupts or whatever, there's a lot to think about. And I don't think anybody has an answer of what to do, but these are all things to think about.
And
I'm done.
Agreed. Very well put, Aim.
Yes. And the fact is, it seems so much closer together. Most of them seem to have a lot of things in common, especially when it comes to food processing or food related.
That's another thing. Food processing plants seem to be burning up all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like we got to find out whether it's John's fault or not. That's it's like I think he just doesn't like eggs or something, and he just doesn't want to. I don't know.
Are we talking John Pearson or my John?
Well, we can John. Yeah, I forgot we don't have John Pearson here today, so we could
call us John,
and that's why we could talk about him too.
Told you.
By the way, if you just got here late, John couldn't make it today, but he might drop in. And also Rob couldn't make it today because he's got a cross country something he's doing.
Working.
Reb's in the dark right now.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so the biggest thing I want to put up for learning from some of this is the fact that you hear us prepping, say that word prepper, and I don't want to. Preparedness is a better word if that offends you, and so instead of just the same old reasons, it's going to be apocalypse or it's going to be a world war or whatever. It sounds like we don't need to have a world war or apocalypse. We already have enough problems
those aliens.
And we don't know exactly.
I'm not eating bugs. Sorry, that's
yes,
not
you
on the
are.
menu.
You're going to eat bugs.
No.
That's not on the menu. Not going to do it.
Hey,
So
wait a minute.
anyway, and
He thinks
does
he's
Jack-
not eating bugs.
see,
Those are for
you're
the
eating
chickens.
bugs.
Chicken pot pie.
You might want to save those.
What? That's not even good. That's what I had for dinner.
Good night, Elijah.
Been in it either.
Good night. And yeah,
Protein.
I keep seeing a movie links from Elijah, and I don't see his last name on them or something, but I can't tell if that's his site or not that I'm seeing on my Facebook because it's an outdoor. It looks like a homesteading site. Has a lot of pictures of birds and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, is that our Elijah or is that a different Elijah? So I don't know. I have to. And every time I think I'm going to ask him, he goes away. Anyway, I think it's the Californians. I think it's Jack's fault. Yep. Okay. So the next thing is a lot of us have been very fortunate. I was born in 1960, so that tells you how old I am. But also, when I was a teenager, I didn't get drafted, so I was a college boy, so I didn't go to the military. And so we've never seen really what war looks like. I mean, and we don't know what it's like. But Sherry and I were sitting in the back of our property here, and you go, could you imagine whatever's going on, let's say in Ukraine, and guys are driving tanks through your yard, or just disregarding what they want, or they want to take your food, they could, or take your pigs or whatever, just to feed themselves. And it's like, we're so close. And it's like, it's going to get interesting. So what I guess the funny part about it is a lot of people look down at farmers, and they look down at homesteaders, and they think we're kind of low class and we got mud on our boots and all that stuff. But suddenly we're going to be on the top of the chain, and we're going to be everything that people want. And it's like, how are we going to handle it and stuff? But I think, I pray that we don't have to have to see what life is like that way, but there's a lot of people that are, and I got a feeling there's going to be a lot more in the future. And so we're fortunate, but let's say at my age, I don't want to go cross country. I can't put a backpack on and I've got to pretty much stay put. And you
got to bug in instead of bug out.
Yeah, and that's the attitude that we've been kind of doing here is if it's going to get to a point where we got to bug out, I mean, obviously, if we had a nuclear problem over in Portland or something like that, we may have to leave. All depends on how things drift and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we do in homesteading that is we have to either defend, protect, or find a way to protect our animals. And yet it seems so easy now, but it could be all you worry about is protecting your homestead, and people are going to want to take what you got. And so anyway, any comments?
Well, in today's world, if you're a homesteader or not, if you're in the big cities like Portland, you're on protective mode all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just out with homesteaders.
Yeah.
Okay. Elijah was still back on. It sounds like those are the are you now, Elijah, do you post like your birds? Oh, do you have gosh,
come on, Rob.
I know I'm just off today. I'm just really off. Pheasants, red pheasants. And if you do, I used to raise pheasants, so I know those kind of birds. But he's got reds. I had yellows too, but I think that's his. I think it's him that posts these red pheasants all the time. And so, if that's the same site, I think I've been, then it is the same.
Got chickens.
Let's see, posts pictures and especially. Yeah, I got a feeling that was him. Anyway, I'll be curious to see if that's his
Said it
comments.
was.
Yeah.
Any other comments on worries?
I do.
Yep. Go ahead.
I had a viral video on TikTok last week. It's still performing. It had over 400,000 views. It was great. All it was, my whole point was, I said, anybody else printing your kids, making sure you have your kids' baby pictures and some recipes written down for when the internet goes out. That was it. That was my whole message.
Wow.
It just
I guess I did see that one.
It blew up. Over 400,000 views. I mean, it's huge. Yay, right? Yay, I'm internet famous. Whatever. I'm TikTok famous. But I got called every name in the book. A fearmonger, a clickbaiter. I was told I was panic inducing. Here's the thing, y'all. I'm not scared. I don't think anybody on this panel is scared. We're prepared, but we are not scared. And I do not want anyone else to be scared. I want you to be prepared.
Yep.
That's
totally
all.
Agree.
And don't tell me that the internet can't go out.
When it has.
It has.
Yep.
Look at Ukraine. They don't have internet. They don't have running water. Ohio, Palestine, Ohio can't drink their water. Don't tell me it can't happen, because on some scale it can. Yep. So when it does, what have you done to prepare? Do you have a generator? Do you have bottled water? Do you have extra food? Do you have a means to defend yourself so that the people who aren't prepared, when they come to get your preparedness, we're all on this panel not scared. We are prepared. Also, do not try and come take our stuff.
That would be
a dare.
Yes, that would not be advisable over here.
It's not advisable.
We got friends. We got people.
we do. And find your community. I got a lot of also comments on that video. People saying, I'm diabetic. I'm in a wheelchair. I'm disabled. I have disabled children I have to care for. I guess we'll just die. Stop that. Stop that nonsense. Stop it. If you're on food stamps, can you buy an extra bag of dry beans this week and then another next week? That counts as being prepared. It's not a race with a finish line. You don't have to hurry up and prepare. You can do small things. Any more prepared that you are today or tomorrow than you were even a year ago, that's fantastic. I'm done. That's all I got.
She's definitely got spring fever.
Well, I think we all do.
Yeah.
And we got snow coming next week, y'all.
Yeah.
I know.
Aimee,
almost 4 inches it could be.
Yeah.
Aimee, that's
50%
really wise
yeah.
stuff, by the way.
Thanks.
And by the way, I was right. So, Elijah, I had reds and I had yellows. I had blue ears. I had reeves. I had
Are we going through your
silvers.
medicine cabin?
John, get your hat on. So yeah, I actually had a game bird
We're on a
farm,
roll
and,
tonight.
and I used to do the checkers and pheasants, of course, and we did it large scale too. So anyway, that's
We're gonna have turkeys.
exciting because I don't get to meet a lot of game bird people. So that's neat. That's we kind of talked about the food processing companies, and it just seems odd that there's so many of it's just, and it's no pattern to what town they're in, but I'm really starting to concern ourselves, like maybe it's this, they don't, the reason there is no pattern to it is because they're kind of spreading it out a lot. And so, but it seems like there's a conspiracy against food. And once again, I don't really worry about that, other than the fact that I probably can't get as many of really good foods out of the grocery store as far as goodies, but I've got so much food here. I may have to eat dried eggs for a year, but I still got tons of eggs. So I know our family's not going to starve. What?
Yeah.
But then again, we've got birds. We get fresh eggs.
That's right. Let's see. What did Cindy say here? Cindy, when there was no toilet paper in the shelves, it was because of us.
It wasn't because of us.
It wasn't because of us. Okay, it's good. I was like, this is not my good day, so I'm having our time. We were prepared and didn't empty our shelves. I got to tell you that I've never seen anybody well prepared on toilet paper except Dale. I went to Dale's house, and he is very well prepared. He was the old host that was on the show, and so anyway, I just every room we went into, I go, "Were you expecting a problem?" Like literally.
And that's why some people didn't get any, because people like that.
No, you buy an extra pack every month, and then you don't go through 3 packs a month. It's funny about the toilet paper. Feminine hygiene supplies, toilet paper, and coffee are the 3 that I get accused of having too much of. But y'all, those are 3 things I do not want to be without. There's 5 women living near us. Okay. I don't want to do the whole cloth pad thing. So feminine hygiene products, coffee, and toilet paper. I don't want to have to do fabric toilet paper either. We could if we had to, but come on.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things I stock up on.
Yep. And for like Dale and yourselves and stuff, like those are things you just keep buying a little bit at a time. And so
a little bit,
when we actually had the problem, I can't say that I was really that prepared. But since that happened, I've made sure to have, a couple of extra cases now. But I kind of looked at it as a no coffee, no worky.
That's true.
No matter what happens, you got to have coffee.
I totally agree with that one.
Yeah. But anyway, if we don't bring it out in this show,
Reb cracks me up.
I miss him tonight.
Ready for Red Dawn. Yeah. Anyway, the big thing is if we out of this show, we should show you exact examples of what could happen, and just as long as you have maybe a month of stuff prepared, just in case you're, and it includes water, and then some odds and ends like batteries, things like that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And then there's crazy people like us that over the years, it just keeps building up. And so I'm thinking Sherry are somewhere between 6 months and a year of really well prepared. But we've been doing this for about 6 years, so it just adds up. And so, but get at least a month, and all you have to do is watch the news and ask yourself, what if that happened to me here? What would I do? And a lot of people don't have anything extras, and so they're in real trouble. Let's see. The next issue I wanted to talk about was feed. What are you going to do if you can't feed your animals? Either get to the feed, buy the feed. They run out of feed. I've had them. My place where I buy my food, they've ran out of pig feed 3 times in a row.
Wow.
I mean, I can still get it other places, but apparently they're not oversupplying for sure. So are you thinking about or building up your inventory to try to make sure that you can feed all your animals, including your dogs and cats and guinea pigs and things like that? So any comments on that?
Well, I'm waiting to see just how long 1 ton lasts of pig food. Once I get that down, it's not a problem.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, if they run out, it's a problem. Then what? No, we are not prepared for that.
Well,
yeah, you eat your animals.
Oh,
that's reality.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except I don't know how to. I wish I knew how to butcher my animals.
We have a friend that does. His name is Dustin.
Yeah. No, we do. We do mix a lot of our own feed, from other things. Just Sunday, we cleared out the broken bags. Sorry if y'all went looking for them. We took them. We cleared out the broken bag section at the feed store. But I will admit that feeding the animals is what I feel like our weakness is here as far as preparedness is. It's not even that we don't have the place to store it. We got a lot of damn animals here, y'all, and they eat a lot. And so, I mean, it costs a lot to feed them day to day. So that when we have extra money, we buy extra food, but I would totally admit that the animal feed is our weak spot in preparedness. And it does scare me, but
it's ours too, Aimee.
That's why we got the drums too. So our mice can't get it or anything like that.
But still, right. The last ton of hog feed we got was 600 and something a ton. Mm-hmm. This time it's gone up like $150.
Wow.
Yeah. And people want to say that won't happen. The internet won't go down. You guys are fear mongers. Okay. If you look at it from the tiniest micro, just look at this. Does your food cost more at the grocery store now than it did a year ago? Oh, hell yeah, it does. So don't tell me nothing's happening. When you fill your gas tank at the fuel station, gas for your car. If you look at nothing else, look at inflation. If you had been buying extra food, how much is it? I'm not sure. We split it, so I'm not sure. But if you don't believe anything else, you cannot deny inflation. If you had been prepping, the food you would be eating now, you would have bought it for less money than if you go buy it now.
Yeah. In fact,
so you can't argue with inflation. That is a fact. There you go.
I'm one of those people that walk because I don't have to go to the store that often. And when I do, everybody hears me. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Down every aisle. It's horrible.
Cindy,
food should last 3 pigs. Finish 3 pigs.
Now, Cindy, I have 12 pigs.
Done for 5 pigs.
And I'm feeding approximately, especially since it's winter, 70 pounds of food a day. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And wait, how many pigs do you have right now?
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah. So I try to give them. They get about 5 to 6 pounds each, and I'm running kind of heavy because it's winter time and I want them to stay warm.
Cold. Yeah.
And I can see, and by the way, it's a fact, is pigs, it looks like during the winter, they don't really gain as much weight as they do during the other time. It's because they're taking that energy and using it for heat. And then I can see that now it's starting to warm up a little bit. I see that my pigs are gaining weight on a regular basis. But boy, for about 2 months there, it was like they
They
just,
were the same, huh?
yeah, they didn't really grow much.
So, Rob, are you supplementing cracked corn?
Nope.
Just a scoop of cracked corn?
Nope.
Because that helps them generate their own heat inside their body.
Yeah. Oh, now I kind of lied. I mixed it in with their food for the 2 cold months. But now I'm just on high protein food for them.
Yeah,
I'm not high protein. I'm not actually running high protein. I'm running at 14%. But I will be increasing it probably next month because I want to finish some of the ones off that are being processed on the 28th of March. And but yeah, I was doing corn mixed in with some of the food. Yeah.
Yeah, we just put an extra scoop over the top of their other ones.
Yeah. So you're doing pretty much the same thing I was. So.
Yeah, we just give them 1 scoop for the 3 big ones.
Yeah.
And then their 1 scoop of food.
Yeah. So
in the morning. At night, we don't give them the corn, only in the morning.
Yeah. And we were doing pretty much the same thing. Is I was trying to do anything I could do to get their to keep their heat up when we're getting those 0 degree days. And Jack was asking me about heavier storage of food. I'm just having a little lack of space, but I'm improving that. But I have multiple $1,000s laying in the yard just to build some new fences and stuff like that. So my next goal is trying to get a shed made just for food. And I just bought a trailer, and I've just had all the different cars repaired and all that thing. So it's been kind of expensive. So some of my goals of of this year are coming along, but it takes time. I don't want to do it all at once, but yeah, I am looking at buying multiple. And just like John, I want to make sure that I can store tons of food and keep it protected because we're having a heck of a time with rodents around here. So anyway, Sherman family, it's really nice to have you, by the way.
Yeah.
Mixing my own chicken feed. She does her own chicken feed. I know you guys, Aimee, you do your own chicken feed, don't you?
Yeah.
And see, she had another message here. I haven't started it for the pigs yet. Yeah, I haven't done that either. I've been kind of going with I really like that.
You're not allowed to have those on the ranch.
Good.
You know that, right?
What's that?
Shipping
I see
containers.
them all the time on the ranch.
I know, but
They're
you're not
everywhere on
supposed
the
to have
ranch.
them.
Yeah.
The HOA can.
Yes. Like they ever enforce anything.
Oh, let's get off that topic. She watches this podcast.
Well, then maybe she can help fix it.
Oh, 1
Sorry,
minute
I had
warning.
to put it out there.
1 minute warning. Oh yeah. So there's a few other things, but I think we hit some of our major ones. I apologize. I've been off today. I don't know what it is about. Just
Not enough caffeine.
must be or something like that. Or I didn't get the strong enough coffee from that place locally. So I'll have to try a stronger type of coffee. I think I got my most important thing. So, guys, do we have to wear these hats next week?
No, I think you can.
No, we'll be on another topic.
That's good. It's kind of like I know these topics, I just don't talk about them on a big scale. So sometimes I've not had time to kind of work on how I wanted to talk about it. But Aimee, you did great. You had some really good material, and thank you so much. And yeah, we'll keep her riled up all that until wintertime, and then we'll cover her. Because me and the old people, we're going to be exhausted just from working our yards, just trying to get all these projects done. So you got to cover us. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see everybody next week. And any questions or comments, leave them below, even if the show's not live. And if you got any subjects you want us to talk about, make sure and do that. And just a reminder, getting sick of this balloon crap. Oh, crap.
That
and of
is
course,
hilarious.
And, you know, you won't believe this.
You know, not one mention of gay frogs, the Rockefellers, Project Bluebeam, Project Mockingbird. What kind of conspiracy show is this?
Okay, that's next week. That's next week.
That's next week, yeah.
Next week I'll be back on. I just had to pop on to let you guys know you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Love you guys. See ya.
Just for that, didn't you?
Oh gosh. Well, anyway, guys, talk to you later. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
This video is made possible by RangerRob Poopy Bags, available on Amazon right now. Thank you very much for watching our video. Please take the time to like, subscribe, and share our videos all over the whole wide world. Thanks.